Welcome to the Cal Baptist Event Center, home of the men's basketball team. Please join us as we guide you through our emergency action plan.
An emergency action plan, also known as the EAP, is a set of guidelines and procedures that explain what to do in the event of an emergency. Each emergency action plan is designed specific to the venue and to the sport. In this case, we will be talking about CBU's emergency action plan for the event center that is often used for men's basketball. At the top of the EAP consists the contact information for emergency personnel and other important numbers. For example, CBU public safety, head athletic trainer or the athletic trainer, the number to the athletic training clinic that is in the event center, which also has a landline, so that is the specific number to call. Then under that information is all the emergency equipment that is located in the event center. Next, you have the chain of command for designating the first responder. So it would go to staff, AT, or graduate assistant, then athletic training student, then coach or assistant coach, and lastly, athletic staff. Next, we have the procedure on what to be done and who to contact and when to contact. And this information is written for both first responders that are athletic trainers and first responders that are not athletic trainers. The main difference between these two procedures is, as an athletic trainer, you have a wide scope of practice than most of these other responders. So you'll be able to do a lot more medical care for the patient, whereas the rest of these people won't be able to. You also want to make sure that when you contact EMS, immediately after you contact public safety, let them know what's going on and allow them to help you out however they can. You also want to designate people to do certain tasks, so you can have one person called EMS and public safety. You can have another person doing crowd control. You want another person who is going to go to the loading docks, which is where EMS will arrive, and you want that person to wait for EMS to arrive and bring EMS to the location of the injured patient. Lastly, at the very bottom of the EAP is directions to the venue. So in the event you're not the person making the call or you forget the directions, it's right here. So all you gotta do is just go take a look at it and just tell EMS where to go.
So I am inside the athletic training room, inside the event center, and here we're going to show you the AT's emergency bag and what's inside of it. So we have an AED, we have an NPA, we also have a, it's called a select collar, and it goes around your neck in case you have a cervical spine injury. We have a patient use resuscitator, and it's a single use. We have a stethoscope. We have a SAM splint, and then the SAM splint needs something to be to wrap around it, so that's what these are used for. And then inside the bag, we have vacuum immobilizers, and they have a pump, but you have to pump them. and we also have emergency oxygen. So all of this equipment goes inside this emergency bag, and then for practices, it's zipped up and then it's set underneath here. The emergency oxygen sits on the side, and then the AED goes on top of here. And if we are in a game, this emergency bag is behind the players, and there's a table that sits out there, and it's underneath the table. And it also has crutches. The crutches are not in this room. They are in the athletic clinic by the Dime Gym. And then we also have our blood kit, and it just has some Power Flex, and then it has these things if you needed to like pop to stop the blood, and then we have some Band-Aids, and then that's pretty much it for this. And this also is located during games. It's located on top of the table behind the players, and then during practice it's in the athletic training. So if we come over here, this tub here is the cold bath, and then that one is the hot bath. We have the ice machine here, and in case of emergency, if a player is getting too hot or they're overheating, we can come and get a bag of ice and try pulling them down that way first and see if that helps. On this side, we have our biohazard, and then we have two smaller biohazards here. And then during practices, this door will be open, and then it leads you inside the gym when they're practicing your play. If you look at here, there's another door here, and this leads you to the other side of the athletic training room, where you have a few tables. And then in a case of emergency, we would use these two tables to lay the players down. So far as these tables over here are just strictly for like taping and things of that. We have the landline that we would use to call 911, and if you call 911 from the landline, it activates campus security, and they will call this phone right back and ask you if you activated 911, and then they will come here to the athletic training room to assist us in any help that we will need. We also have the emergency action plan taped here, so if anyone needs to know what procedures to use, they can just come look right here, and then it helps them get to what they need to do and then who does what in what order. If we come this way, you'll notice that we have gloves. You should have gloves in your kit, but in the case that you don't have enough or you need more, we have gloves here, and then there's a sink here, so if you need to wash your hands for anything, or there's or anything of that, you can wash your hands when you're taking off your gloves or before you're putting on your gloves. This is a sphygmo manometer, and then some people also call it a BP cup. What you notice is that this is separate from the stethoscope. So technically this should be with the stethoscope inside of the emergency kit. As our basketball player comes in looking for an AT, he faints. As he faints, our AT will size up the scene and come and assist. As she does her tap, shout, tap, she will now do her initial assessment of AFU, which is to check if the player is alert, verbal, has any pain, or if he's unresponsive. Megan will now do her ABCs, vitals, which are airway, breathing, and circulatory, on our basketball player.
All right, Kaisha, can I have you call EMS and can you get me an AED? Kaisha is now calling EMS, and after she's done talking to EMS about what happened to the athlete, she will contact campus security.
The X in this paper is where we would be located on the basketball court, and you have 2 exits from each side of the event center. And either exit, you will follow where the red line is going down. You will follow either side of those exits to go and retrieve EMS from the gate on Diana, and either campus security or another AT that has a badge would be able to go and get EMS from the docks so they can follow us back to the athlete and get the athlete to an hospital.
So this is where EMS will enter from. So this street that we have is Diana. Parallel to that is the 91 freeway. Then we have an entrance here, which is Adams Street, and then we have another entrance here, which is Ramon May. So when they come, we will hand over our players to EMS, and we will give them all the information that we collected from our athlete. We will have EMS come in, and we will ask them to take our athlete to the nearest trauma hospital, which is Riverside Community Hospital. Also, myself and campus security will also be out here to open the gates for them, because that's the only way that they can get in. And when they do come in, if it's a really bad injury, we can open these slider doors, as you see here, and they can pull all the way into the loading dock to get our athlete, instead of us having to